Well, welcome back to another session of Just Me podcast. And today we are so privileged to be joined by Ryan Doyle, who I met quite a few weeks ago or months ago. Ryan, over to you. What is it that you do and who is it that you are?
I've had several titles over the years. I think the easiest one for people to know me as is a free running world champion.
Wow.
I was a Red Bull athlete for 10 years, and now I give my skills over to the television and film industry, where you'll probably see me in several TV series and movies that come out, but not as like leads, just as stunts. You know, when it comes to physical ability, it translates quite well over to the stunt world.
Brilliant. So where did it all begin then? Take us back to where was you born?
I was born in Liverpool. It was just me and my brother. I think I had, being second born, I had like second best issues, you know, always being shorter, not being able to cross the road when you can, or so I think my competitive nature came from that. And then just came from a very loving family, and I had a encouragement to do a lot of things that I wanted to do after graduating university. You know, I really love the media, television production, and understanding how influential it can be. And you know, I wrote a dissertation on audience manipulation through vision and sound. So
Wow.
I knew the power of media, and so whether it was almost like whether I get famous or not, it doesn't matter. I'll do the media side of it and make myself famous if I need to.
I love that.
So yeah, I mean, a lot of the stuff, the videos that and stuff that people share of mine are edited by me and put together by me, because with the degree in media, I didn't know I was going to be using that along the way. It was at the same time, I think it was my last year in university that I made a short 10-minute action sequence film. It was like a Jackie Chan production. It was 70% action, 30% dialogue. And the university entered it into the Screen Test Film Festival, which was it was like the national film festival for universities at the time. I competed against all the other universities in the country and beat them.
Wow.
And but I couldn't be there at the award ceremony and the premieres of all the. I was over in another part of England at an extreme tricks battle tournament. Now, I don't know. You've seen these tournaments where you have like the fighting and the boxing and sparring, and so some of these tournaments have adopted martial arts trick battles, which is kind of like it's like the new craze off the block, where it's tricks based. So you kind of like it's like a breakdance battle. One guy's tricks versus another guy's tricks, and the judges put the best one through. But it's martial art based tricks, so it's kind of just these ninja routines versus somebody else's ninja routine. And it was picking up big in America, but over in the UK back in like early 2000s, it wasn't that great. So it was easy for me to sneak in and win all the tournaments, because I was taking. Yeah, I was a martial arts tricker first. My background was like gymnastics, breakdancing, and then martial arts, because we all grew up watching Jackie Chan movies.
Yeah.
And then taking it to levels is where free running grew. So when the gyms, like the gymnastic centres in Liverpool, we got one Park Road's famous because Beth Tweddle trained there. We started to open the doors up to the public to allow different disciplines to come in and cross over. So all the movement-based disciplines that don't involve equipment like skateboards, BMXs, or rollerblades, just the human body. So you have dancers, martial artists, gymnasts, cheerleaders, everything that just involves the human body, all crossing over. And if you put that into a category of movement, you think, well, the category of movement itself isn't that big. Why would they just learn to dance? Why would they just learn a martial art? Why not learn them all? It's not, you know what I mean? People really get like becoming an expert at something that's it's not that big to learn. Once you've learned all the movements, you've cracked it.
Yes.
Move on to something else, then you know you just focus on that one specific category of movements and go into teaching it and promoting it and doing that, which is sound, because there are like career revenue streams in those directions. But as the new kid on the block, free running kind of incorporates them all, and it it opened up a lot of doors in people's brains to see the holes in people's movements. Like if you look at the PE program at school, I wanted the Jamie Oliver the PE program and basically teach people how to fall, because
Brilliant.
that is the only difference between um like what these people are seeing when you look at free run, and you see them jumping from building to building and landing and rolling and doing these amazing flips, and you're thinking it's the most dangerous thing you've ever seen, but you're missing the point. It's the way they're able to do that so confidently is because they've already learned the basics. They've already known how to fall. They can enjoy the airtime. The landing part, they've got it sorted. They've practiced that for years.
Brilliant.
And the only kid that goes to a martial art class will learn how to break fall or shoulder roll, where they roll without smashing the head on the ground because they go over the shoulders to the side. And there was always that kid in school that came in with the stitches in his chin who just, he went down and he didn't know how to roll.
Oh,
So I think it should be PE 101, knowing how to fall. It's not an if, it's a when. It's going to happen to us all at some point, and knowing what to do should be PE 101.
that's so cool. And,
Yeah.
and and something you mentioned to me the other week is that you do get a lot of people, don't you, into your classes who are sort of elderly.
Yes, we have like parents and kids sessions together. And when we first opened up, I was like mid-20s, and it was a young man's sport. It wasn't for kids. This is out of all the extreme sports, this is the only one that doesn't have safety equipment. Or having safety equipment defeats the object of the sport. You're not going to have a crash mat in your pocket in an everyday situation. So I was like, why are you bringing your 5-year-old? You should be doing this, trying to get the parents to get on board as well. But I mean, some parents bring the kids and just use the academy as a soft play center. I mean, obviously they're going to get like skills out of it. But I went to a school once, and a kid said to me, "My mummy says parkour is dangerous." And I'm like, "Girl, the people are dangerous, but the people with the parkour training are going to be safer than the people without it." You know what I mean? If you've got a dangerous kid, let's just make two dimensions out of it. One went to free run and one didn't. Both of them are dangerous, but one now knows how to be safer.
But it's amazing, isn't it? Because I mean, when I brought my children the other month, I mean, what was amazing is that they instantly took to it. It just happened. And when you were teaching them, the thing that really struck me was how natural all the movements that you've got. And you said to me that it's a mixture of martial arts and lots of different things, gymnastics, all the rest of it.
Yeah.
And I could see that in the way that they started to move and they started to fall. And as you say, it's almost like PE 101. It's such a natural thing for people to do to learn this, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, we're still updating it, and that's the beauty of it. It's not locked in as a sport at
Mm,
the moment because we're still discovering new movements. I mean, I've just changed the way we teach how to roll again. We used to have like hands together in a crescent shape, but now your second hand is closer to your temple. So if you're jumping off a height, if you're coming down at a velocity, even if you're going over your shoulder, your head will dangle and hit the floor. So if your opposite hand is underneath your temple of your roll shoulder, then your hand is a cushion. And
okay.
yeah, it's just little things along the way. And what I've noticed is just by observing other athletes that move naturally,
Mm,
is they instinctively do these things to the
mm,
point where it's like we're trying to break down something that's instinctive. You know what I mean?
mm.
And if you don't think too much about it, it flows. I
Yeah,
mean, as you just mentioned, then seeing how the kids take to it is we want to disguise exercise as fun so that they don't realize how many calories they're burning, that they don't realize that they're getting all these new skills and becoming safer. So that the whole process of it just feels natural.
brilliant. That. Well, what have you learned along the way? Because I mean, you teach so much, and even when I watched you just do, a cartwheel, there's such a fluidity in the way that you do it, and you make it so effortless. So, what have you really learned along the way doing all of these things?
Oh wow, yeah. Going off what you just said, then is it seems to be constantly optimizing. So if you've created a parkour line and you ran it, the second time you do it, you're going to take less steps. And then you're going to take even less steps and do it more efficiently. And then you're going to be even more efficient. And it's just about, and then it becomes just this wave, this flow. But that's the type of training that we do. You create the line and then you master the line. And it creates a mental connection in your brain where you're constantly creating problems and then solving them and overcoming them and like physically overcoming them. You know what I mean? And it puts the mind in a mindset of being in the habit of overcoming obstacles. So when you've got money problems or death in the family or stuff that goes on in your life, you'll be able to deal with it because you're used to overcoming obstacles.
And do you think? I mean, you just mentioned earlier about instinctive movement. Do you almost think that that's almost become sort of instinctive thinking and living?
Um, in the sense that we know we need to be healthy and we know we need to move.
Yeah.
um, my body urges to move when I sit down for too long. I start getting cramps. It actually like it speaks to you, not in English, but in pain and in tightnesses. And a lot of people ignore the body, and it's because they've got so many distractions going on in life. They got to go to work, and when they come home, they're too tired to do any type of workout on the body. And even when they do want to do a workout, they'll go, right, I'm going to do some exercises. I'm going to go for a run. And I'm like, look, if you already feel tight and stiff, doing more contractions is going to make you even tighter. What you're not doing is stretching.
Brilliant.
And it's in the same category as water. Without it, you die. You're just going to get tighter and tighter. And your vertebrae in your spine will eventually cut off the oxygen and blood flow to certain major organs of the body. And it will lead to a lot of problems. If you just stretch, like everyone needs to come up with their own daily routine and not based on, I mean, you can watch videos because a lot of the movements are the same, a lot of the tightnesses in the body are the same on everyone because we all store stress in the same place and we all punch in the same way and we sit down in the same area, and if we all listen to the body, you could just create your own daily yoga routine that would only take 25-30 minutes, and it's fun, not just fun, it feels good to the point where it gets addictive, where you feel terrible not doing it.
And it's funny, isn't it, Ryan? Because I mean, I do that. I do a daily kind of stretch routine, and I have to say that it even though it can be 10 to 20 minutes or half an hour, it makes a massive difference, doesn't it? Huge.
Totally, like when it comes to your mental well-being as well. Like, I can't even think clearly till I've had a good stretch and let the oxygen like really get into the brain and wake me up completely. And then there's the other side of it all, where is just with the amount of traveling that the free run's taken me, I can't deny that unlocking a lot of these movements has mentally unlocked a massive sense of freedom to the point where you can walk into an environment and just look around and go, yep, I can escape. I can go that way, this way, that way, that way. And, it almost gives us a massive sense of confidence to the point where I'm in I'm in control of my life. You know what I mean? I can get to the edge of that cliff, look down, decide to jump, decide to stay, and it's nice to have that freedom, especially when you're in a world with governments trying to tell you to lock yourself away from your friends and family and stuff. Like, you got to catch me first.
Yeah. And what do you do when times get tough for you? What's your kind of out? I mean, you mentioned about movement and stretching and stuff, but how do you deal with stuff?
What my escapism from
Yeah,
life?
yeah. Because life's stressful at times, isn't it? I mean, for us all.
Yeah, well, I've been getting into meditation for the past couple of years, and I've
Brilliant.
discovered like a whole new area to experiment with, like a whole new sense of, ooh, this will give me more to life. Um, yeah, it's quite deep. I had a spiritual experience a couple of years back that kind of changed the way I look at things for the better.
Mm.
Like understanding. So I'm trying to write a script to like basically make it all make sense. Um, like the future is a set of probabilities, and if this is all based upon it all stems from the body, basically, all from the training side of it. That are all things that I've learned. Basically, if you spend more than 50% of your awake time in negative emotions, you get tight, you tighten up, you hunch forward, you start to shrink, you'll tilt into Mr. Burns from The Simpsons position.
Yeah.
And if you spend more than 50% of your awake time in happy, love, positive, proud emotions, then you open up and you lean backwards and everything raises up, your head goes up, your chest goes up. And it's important to understand that your emotions and your posture are linked. Any acting class can tell you, if you were to, without using dialogue, show me scared, fear, you'd go in, happy, love, proud, you'd open out, and you mentally go to these positions just by being there. And it's kind of like your posture is second to your emotions and follows. So with that in mind, it's kind of like, well, there's a lot of people trying to extend life, and I'm playing this game called the 150 game. Well, I kind of started this game called the 150 game, and it's very easy to market it. You just say to someone, "Are you playing the 150 game?" And what's the idea of the game? To live to 150 at least. When you get there, then it's 200. And scientists already believe that somebody alive today is going to live to 150.
Wow.
Could be you, Sid.
Yeah.
Could be me.
Oh, heaven
But
help.
the statistic shows that people with grandkids stick around longer than people without grandkids.
Yeah.
And sayings like retirement is the biggest killer kind of suggests that having a purpose will prolong your life. So with that being said, if you believe what society says is 81 is the average life expectancy, then you'll think 82 is a bonus.
Yeah.
And you'll do everything you can and live all your life and do all the fun stuff and drink and maybe do some drugs and do everything in those 81 years because that's what you believe you've got. Whereas if someone turned around and said to you, nah, 150 is the end game, when you're a 75-year-old man, you're only halfway, then it might change the baseline of your thinking to prolong your life.
Brilliant.
And I've seen some 75, 80-year-olds doing calisthenics on bars, and they've got like the skin of 20-year-olds, and like, look, they're just still going. And I mean, I understand if everyone you've ever loved and cared about, if they've already died, like say like you're 90 years old and everyone's gone, then death would seem quite inviting to you because you think, well, that's where the party is. But if you've convinced all your friends around you to play the 150 game as well, then you'll be phoning each other up, going, I'm 159, 149, bro, you still with me? Yeah. And you'll be urging each other to play the game. And so the moral of the game is basically the person who's going to win the 150 game is only going to be somebody who knows about the game and is playing the game. So I'm trying to spread the message of the game.
Love that. And if you could give some advice to your younger self, if you could go back to Ryan at, I don't know, 5, 6 or 10 or whatever, what advice would you give yourself?
Don't be scared to ask others for help.
Oh,
Yeah, there's been so many, like, I don't even want to think about opportunities that I've missed or things that I've messed up for myself just because I've thought I could handle it. And it was just through, I'd say, fear, negative emotions of not trusting people.
Brilliant. Yeah, it's lovely advice.
Yeah.
And what legacy would you like to leave behind after you've hit the 150 club?
I've inspired a lot of people to get up and move. People play Spider-Man, and I'm like, well, here's how you go and be Spider-Man. So I just want to inspire people to do positive, and because I know, with my new belief that we can turn this world into a utopia. I can see positive futures coming. That's why I'm writing the script, because it's like an interdimensional script. Like every other multiverse film, like the Terminator or the Matrix, to show this dystopia future where the machines have got you. Like, does anyone talk about the utopia future where we kind of like release the technology and not use it to enslave humanity. Kind of like have, I want me flying car, I want hoverboards, I want, floating gardens of food and fresh vegetables everywhere. So
Absolutely.
I've created this script where it kind of like brings science and religion together. For example, if you got a time machine and went back and got Jesus and brought him back to now, and you kind of like fulfilled the resurrection and the second coming in one event, is that science or religion?
Great question.
Yeah, in it, as part of the script, man. And the other thing I've been getting into, obviously, you asked me about hobbies, would be the app that I created, the risk assessment app. So because of the new AI technology that's out there, the ability to do that and it is a lot easier than people think. The new coding language is English. You just prompt what you want in whatever coding language you want the output to be in, and you got to think of this thing as like C3PO. It's a language model. It knows every language.
Wow. Yeah, it's
So
amazing.
just through repetitive prompting and copy and pasting, I was able to get enough code together to put an app that I believe, through doing some recent research, is the world's most advanced risk assessment tool that'll generate a 2-page PDF risk assessments and method statements in seconds, with the ability to modify it and change absolutely anything on it to view the hazards and graphs and charts. It's too easy, but it can also give you a risk assessment of all the hazards that are associated with not using an AI tool in the 21st century.
Yeah.
So you've got to look at it like a man with an AI is far superior than a man without an AI
Yeah.
at the moment.
Yeah. And what do you think the magic is that you bring to others? I mean, I've met you a few times, and I know, but what do you think it is that Ryan brings to? I mean, you mentioned there about inspiring people to get up and move, which I've written down, and I love that. But what other magic do you think you bring? I mean, your joy, your enthusiasm is huge as well.
Yeah. Well, because I'm an OG, I'm pretty much the first generation of athletes where we're first discovering the movements,
Mm.
and the next generation came from standing on the shoulders of giants, where they came from. Like the first generation clearly came from other movement disciplines. They had martial arts, gymnastics, breakdance backgrounds, and the second gens came from whatever the first gens created. So they had their styles, and then there's these new generations that are do you want to see them? They're picking up BMXs and scooters and mixing the free running movements to them and taking that like equipment to the next level now. I never thought anyone could do a quad cork, but now people are trying quint corks, 5 twists. In my day of doing a single cork, you were on a level.
Yeah.
But I want to, hopefully, as I'm getting older now, I'm 40 years old and I'm still doing this. And sometimes I look at pictures of myself from 20 years ago and I'm like, wow, I don't look much different.
Wow.
And so I'm trying to get the wisdom these days to be able to talk about it in a way that bring there's a lot more to it than the physical side of it. I mean, for example, adrenaline. It is so important to keep your fight and flight response alive. And if you're a guy at the gym on a treadmill, just running, and I say to you, come training with me, we're going to go up that building and run across the side of it with a death drop on one side. But we're just going to do the same thing, just run exactly what you're doing now. I guarantee there'll be more juices running through his body than being on the treadmill. One of them is adrenaline. He has to have his A game switched on. He's going to be sweating. His heart is going to be racing a lot faster. And when that moment is over, the adrenaline oxidizes in the blood and it creates euphoric effects. And like coming off a roller coaster, you're like, whoa, yes, I've lived.
Yeah.
And that in itself is so important. It's your body's ability to fight for itself. Once you stop activating your adrenaline gland, you stop reacting to things. Your body decides to stop. Someone could set off a nuclear bomb behind you and you wouldn't flinch because there's no one in you, and then you stop fighting yourself from disease and anything. So it's super important to keep the adrenaline and the fight or flight response alive, and you're born with certain instincts to set it off. The fear of loud noises. So if I was to set a foghorn off behind your head, you would flinch, or pop a balloon when you didn't notice, you would flinch, and you're born with that. You know, it's an instinct to, am I in danger? Another one is heights, the fear of falling. We're all like, if you even if you're asleep sitting up and you suddenly nod off, you jerk because you're like, whoa, I'm going off balance. If I was to say, hey, come up on this building with me and stand you in front of a drop. If you look down, you're directly looking at a drop. It'd be quite scary, but what would be 10 times more scarier is if I stood directly behind you and started poking you.
Yes.
That would be adrenaline torture. You'd be flinching so much, you'd be releasing so much adrenaline. So that's an example of what I'm trying to say. And if you look at people like the Iceman, Wim Hof, he's doing ice baths. He's telling me now, I've noticed that this is the third way I can activate my adrenaline. If I switch on the shower, cold water, and I'm looking at it, I haven't got in it yet, I'm just looking at it and I'm telling myself I'm getting in that shower. My adrenaline's going to build up to the point where I then go, and do it. So I get what they're all trying to do. They're just activating the adrenaline. I understand the importance of it. I just don't think they're mentioning that as the main point of what they're doing. It's like, getting the ice bath. That's great if you can handle it. I mean, it sucks, like, because my biggest fear is cold, but that's the whole point. It's a fear. It's supposed to set off me adrenaline. But if they just mention what they're doing and why they're doing it more though than, oh, ice baths are great, just tell people why it's good.
Yeah, that's a really good point, isn't it? Yeah, I love that. Yeah, I haven't thought of it like that. And if you could think about, when you get really excited about something, your fizzy pop moment. What is the fizzy pop moment that you really, because you're talking about kind of adrenaline, that whole kind of fight and flight stuff. What's that for you? What do you get really kind of excited about?
Don't know. It's when my kid does something these days, I guess. Yeah. A lot's changed since being a dad. Everything I've ever really wanted and like all my missions and plans and goals kind of just changed a bit when he was born. I'm like, okay, well, I've kind of done most of that. I don't really need to repeat it. What does he want to do?
Oh, lovely.
Yeah. But yeah, I'd say most of my fizzy pot moments now come from him.
That's really lovely. Because I mean, he was there, wasn't he, when we were at your place, and
Yeah.
it was like, it was just great seeing him kind of like looking at dad and kind of doing stuff.
And then I guess there's other times where like most of my energy comes from a thought.
Wow.
Or a shot. It could be 11 o'clock at night. We could have worked all day, could be tired, and then I've just got this idea for a shot. And it's like, it's so easy to do. The setup's right there. We can do it right now. And it would look amazing. Let's go do it. And sometimes the shot is worth more than money. Like the amount of times I've gone into what could have been a well-paid production, but just cared about the shot so much that I didn't care about the money. And it's worked out better for me that way because I know how much that shot can, the law of attraction of that shot will bring a lot more to me.
Yeah.
And let's, for example, Red Bull Art of Motion 2011. So I just done Brazil Art of Motion. They flew me over to, I just done Japan Art of Motion. They flew me to Brazil to do all the media for the next Art of Motion. And so I was at the universities promoting it. I did a photo shoot. I fell into the favela sewer, man. I got to get hosed down. Wow. Anyway, I was really beat up by the time the tournament came, and then I seen all the competitors on the competitors list, and that day was my name. I'm like, well, you didn't tell me I was competing. You said come do the media. You have just beat myself up for 2 weeks for this, and now you want me to compete. Everybody else has had 2 weeks rest. This isn't fair. You're supposed to look after me. So I'm going on the judging panel. So brilliant. I'm sitting there and watching on the day of the tournament on the morning. I think it was the morning of the night before, kind of thing. But I'm training on the course with the guys, and I do this front flip to cat, and I'm like, I need that, and I really want that shot, and somebody film it, and then one of the guys said to me, "Why don't you take part, Ryan, and get that shot with the audience in the background and everything?" And I'm like, you know what? Fine, I'll do it. You all want me to do this, so I'll do it. But I'm doing it for that shot because I want that shot, and that was the only reason why I done it. Anyway, 25 athletes compete. Only 8 qualify. I somehow came 9th, but someone in the top 8 broke their ankle in the run.
Wow.
So I automatically see the through to the finals being 9th.
Wow.
I'm like, I didn't have a second run planned. What I didn't know was that they changed angle during my front flip to cat move, and they didn't actually get it at all. And I didn't know that. So what I did is in my second run, I started mixing together stuff that I didn't use in the first run. Got to that position on the course to do the front flip to cat. Did that again, which was better than the first time. They got it from a boss angle, and then I finished the course with like perfect flow. And everybody else tried to go one bigger, one better, and stumbled and fell to some degree where they couldn't have the winning run.
Wow.
And me just playing it safe, kind of, I went from not even competing to accidentally winning the whole thing.
Wow.
And that's when I became a 2-time world champion, just because I wanted the shot.
Oh, that's so cool. And if you could use one word to describe yourself, Ryan, what would it be?
Is there a word for like having faith? Yeah, like almost sure the future's positive.
Oh,
It's funny. I have a lot of belief in you get what you want, what you
yeah.
go after. Yeah.
Faith, actually, faith, yeah, having faith. That's a good one for you. Really brilliant. Ryan, thank you so much for sharing all your wisdom. And honestly, every time I think of you, I just smile because I've seen you, met you a few times. I've seen you in your parkour gym and stuff, and I just love the fluidity of your movement. I love what you're teaching people, and I love the fact you say you want to inspire people to get up and move. I think that is so important. It's just lovely.
Thank you, Sid. Yeah.
You're very welcome. Thank you.